If you enjoyed this video, be sure to hit that sub button for more amazing content. Now, let's jump straight into the video. What's good, YouTube, and welcome back to the Bofina1 podcast, and I am your host, Bofina1. Welcome back to episode 7. If you enjoyed this podcast, please hit that thumbs up button, comment, share, and subscribe, and turn on the post notification bell. So let's jump straight into it. So this is episode 7, y'all. Consistency in the building. I appreciate everybody for watching these podcasts, watching them all the way through. Impressions are going up. Click-through rate is doing good. Watch time is doing good. So let's keep that same momentum. You know, it's also motivating me. I say this every podcast, but I really appreciate you guys for watching my content. People have commented to me on Twitter, feeling like this is my niche. You know, I really appreciate it. So without further ado, let's jump straight into it. I got about 5 topics for today, and, we'll just see how it goes. Hope you guys had a good weekend. I surely did. So let's jump straight into it. So the first one is being that, hustle culture, right? And how hustle culture is pretty much that you got to work nonstop. You have to pretty much just be working all the time. And if you're not working all the time, that's a problem, right? Well, that's the topic I want to talk about, is that it's okay to take breaks. It's okay to reward yourself, especially when you hit goals, whether it's, a mental goal, a physical goal, monetary, whatever. It's okay to take breaks and take some time to be able to enjoy or like they call it, smell the flowers or enjoy the fruits of your labor. I feel like hustle culture is true. I do think you have to hustle. I do think you have to have motivation. I do think you have to really push yourself to get to certain things. You have to do more than the average person if you want to get to a certain place in your life. You have to put in the work, and that's just a reality of it. But what I don't think is good is when you're working so much that you don't spend time with your family, or you don't spend time with loved ones, or, you don't take care of your own mental health or your physical health, right? Because some people get to a point that they become a workaholic. They work so much that they don't make time for themselves. They don't make time for their family. They don't make time for the things that they need to do. Because if you don't have your mental health, how are you going to expect to be able to keep working at the same level? Eventually you're going to, as what people would call it, eventually you're going to burn out. The other thing is, it's nice to work, but you also don't want to be that person either where you spent all your time working that you didn't get a chance to enjoy any of, let's say you're 20s, like me, I'm in my 20s. You don't get a chance to enjoy any of your 20s. So then when you get older, you're like, yeah, I got all this money, but I didn't develop any relationships. I didn't do any network, so I'm alone. And that's kind of sometimes which I think you see with some of these rich folks, why, we hear them, commit suicide and all that stuff, because they spent so much time working and grinding and that they really didn't allow for themselves to build those relationships. Like, for example, right? You have different friends for different things. But if you spend your time so much always in a book and you never get a chance to go out and taste life and enjoy life, then it gets to a point where when you get older, or when you want to do things, like maybe you want to travel, you have nobody to do anything with because you had no balance. And don't get me wrong, it's okay to work. You're going to have to work. You're going to have to say no some weekends when your friends want to go out. Like me, I'm up. It's 7 o'clock in the morning, 6 o'clock in the morning. I get up in the morning and I record my podcast because, no one's really up in my house except my mom this time of the morning, and she's upstairs. I'm in the basement. So it's really quiet, right? So I have to adjust my schedule because, I still live at home. So I have to adjust my schedule to when it makes sense for me to be able to record, when it's quiet for the most part. That's why sometimes you'll hear a little bit of noise in the background, but I try to get up in the morning so I can record, have time to edit, have time to just think before everybody else gets up. And that's what you hear a lot about, I know Kobe Bryant used to say that. A lot of people that are really successful, they talk about the earlier you get up, you have more time to do things. And it is true because it's quieter in the morning. And you get a lot of the stuff out of the way so you can enjoy the rest of your day. At least that's how I look at it. But nonetheless is that, it's okay to take breaks. I think that's the thing that I hate about this, I don't want to say generation, I'm some old person, but I feel in general, that's the wave is, oh, you got to work, you got to work, you got to work, you got to work. And it's that's good, man. You're supposed to work, right? But you also got to take breaks because eventually you'll burn out. And burnout is pretty much where you've pushed yourself to the limit. And eventually you'll become unmotivated. You won't want to work. You won't want to, for example, I won't want to do podcasts. I mean, that's kind of what happened on my main channel. I feel I was pressuring myself to constantly upload content on topics because, that's a kind of a news type of channel now. It started off as gaming, then it went to reviews and gaming news. I tried a little bit of everything on that channel. And I got burnt out because I felt like I had to upload like all the time. So eventually it became unfun. I mean, I upload on there sometimes, but not as much, I feel like, as I used to. I feel like I used to upload a lot more, and I burnt out. I mean, I have over 1,000 something videos on that channel. I've had that channel for like 6 years, going on 7. But nonetheless, it is okay to take breaks. There's nothing wrong with that, and you need to take breaks. And also, I feel like there's also this thing of like, and I think it comes from school, or it comes from just in general, that, you're supposed to work your whole life, wait until you're 50, 60 years old, and then finally get to enjoy yourself. No, you should enjoy yourself now. Who's to say that you're going to make it until you're 50, 60 to retirement age? People die every day. And it may not even necessarily be because you died because you didn't take care of yourself. You could have gotten a car accident from a drunk driver. You could have got ran over. You could have been in a drive-by. I mean, you know what I mean? Like, there's so many different things that could happen between, like, right now I'm 26. Okay, retirement age right now is like, 65 or something like that? There's so much that could happen between then and now. So why am I going to just work myself like a slave and wait until I'm 60 something to finally start living life? That's not good, because you might not even make it to that point. You also got to remember too, as you get older, you're going to have probably like your energy level is not going to be there. You're going to start having health problems, So a lot of stuff like that's what you hear a lot about too, is that people will say that they finally are able to do the things they want to do, but now they're too tired to do them. And see, that's another thing that happens a lot with people. Like, you get older, it's the truth. Like, your body doesn't work the same it did, as when you were younger. So I just feel like it's like there's a fine line between, I feel like, YOLO, like you only live once, and like balance. I mean, like, don't just spiral out of control. But I also think you need to enjoy yourself. You have to reward yourself, because if there's all work and no fun, like how they say work hard, play hard. If there's all work and no play, you're eventually just going to burn out. And that's just a reality, in my opinion. That's just how I feel about it. But let's move on to the next thing. Number 2, and that is realizing how blessed you really are. And I've had to do this myself, right? Because it kind of feeds into this hustle culture of like, you see things on Instagram, you see people in their 20s buying homes, buying cars, whatever the case is, right? And you feel like you're not as blessed as you should be. You feel like you're not where you should be in life. Because you're not at that same point that person is, right? But sometimes you have to realize just how blessed, meaning like how fortunate, whatever you believe in, whether it's, a religion or you believe in the universe, whatever, just how fortunate you really are. There's a lot of people that are in a lot worse situation. And I used to hate when people would say that, because it always made it seem like, oh, well, that person's in a worse situation than you. So it's like, oh, are you trying to downplay how I'm feeling? No, it's more of saying like, you need to realize how blessed you really are. All the things that you have going for you, all the things, because that's also part of the hustle culture, right? Is people, we're so focused on the next thing, that we don't get a chance to enjoy what we've accomplished now. You know what I'm saying? Like, even me, like, I look at some of my accomplishments, like, even just from high school, like, I was on the honor roll, National Honor Society, and a bunch of clubs. I did computer programming, engineering, went to college, got my degree in engineering. Now I'm working at a top logistics company in corporate. I just made 3 years, July 1st, making very good money. And I'm able to use that money to fund other things, like my investments, my YouTube channel, etc. Like, I'm able to take trips. Like, I took 4 trips last year. No cap is what people say. I took 4 trips last year. Like, some people won't even take 1 trip a year. Some people's vacation is a staycation, meaning all they do is stay home. I have 2 parents. They're still working. You know what I'm saying? Like everyone's healthy. I'm able to save. I'm able to invest. I'm even talking about getting a new car. Like, I'm about to be done with my student loans this year. $34,000. That's a blessing, like stuff like that. Like, you have to realize how blessed you really are. And I think a lot of time we don't realize that, because we spend so much time on Instagram and spend so much time looking at social media that we don't realize, like, those people are sometimes an anomaly, like a 1% that gets to that point. Also, we don't know those people's situations. They might be inheritance where their parents worked hard, and so now they have those things. I mean, you just don't really know. And at the same time, you also have to take what is being shown on like social media sites with a grain of salt, because it's like a vlogger, right? People only show you what they want to show you. People only are going to show you the good things. People are not going to show you the bad things, the struggles, the stuff that they had to do to get to that point. So that's just one of the topics I want to talk about, is really realizing just how blessed, you really, how blessed you really are. you know, just realizing that, so, and that kind of leads into my next topic, which is, setting goals and speaking things into existence. That's a big thing. That is a really big thing, whether people want to believe it or not. I set goals like weekly goals. I have like so I kind of like make it like a chart, right? So like my yearly goal, okay, this is like the ultimate goals I want to achieve, by the end of the year. But then I have what they call like sub goals, meaning goals that are underneath that. Okay, how the smaller goals that are going to get me to that bigger goal. So I feel like making goals, you have to have goals. You have to have something that measures where you're at in life, because that's why I feel like you see people in this world that don't really know what they want to do. They don't really know what direction they want to go to in life, because they have no goals. They have no goals set for them. So, it's almost like a person that's just out here in the world, right? Like some people say, oh, at this age, I want to have this. At this age, I want to have that, so they know, okay, either I'm on track or I'm falling a little bit behind. I need to try to, retwist things and, and so I feel like you need to have goals to know where it is that you want to go in life. If you don't have goals, how do you know you're just out here in this world? That's why you see some people say, oh, that person's just a bum. That person had no goals. I feel like a lot of time too. That has a lot to do with it too. And also speaking things into existence. And that's a big thing, because I've been speaking certain things. Like I remember when I was in college, I even realized I was doing it. I remember I used to talk to my mom on the phone. We talked like every day on the phone when I was in college, even if it was just like for 5 minutes, whatever. And I used to tell her like, I'm going to finish my engineering degree. I'm going to come out of school and I'm going to make good money, and I used to say that like a lot. Right. And, I was doing the things that I needed to do, go to school, get the internships, network, etc., to get to that point. Right. I used to say that consistently. And I didn't even realize that I was speaking that into existence. And that's what happened. Don't get me wrong. You can't speak things into existence without putting in the work. Let me repeat that. You can't speak things into existence without putting in the work. You still have to put in the work. But I also think there is a thing of you have to speak things into existence for them to happen. You have to already feel like you're in that part of your life. You already have to feel like you're there. That's part of speaking into existence, and having your goals set up. They go hand in hand. They really do. They go hand in hand. So, just advice from someone that I wasn't I always had goals, right? But I was never the type of person to write my goals down, and and I think I was always speaking these into existence, but I didn't know. Have your goals written down, speak things into existence, and you have to work hard. You're gonna have to sacrifice. That's just a reality of when I was in college. A lot of weekends I didn't go out. They told us that. They were like, yeah, in engineering, you guys are not going to be going to, if you want to pass, you're not going to be going to parties. You're not going to be kicking it. You're not going to be doing a lot of this stuff. So for 5 years, I didn't really do a lot. My excitement was summer break or Christmas break, or I would come home sometimes on the weekends. I didn't get a chance to do a lot of those things, but I'm enjoying the fruits of my labor now. I'm traveling. I'm able to invest. I'm able to, buy the type of clothes I want. I'm able to afford the things that I want to be able to do. I'm possibly going to maybe even get a Tesla in the next year or so because I can afford that. I'm about to be done with my student loans. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to take a trip to Disney World. It's real out here, but I had to put in that work for 5 years. And really think about it, even before, I had to work high school, middle school, to get to the point of where I'm at now. But see, that's the stuff that a lot of time I feel like people, they don't see, they don't realize, they just look at the end result. So setting goals and speaking things into existence as if you're already there, whether you want to believe it or not, it's a big deal. Which also, I guess you say, leads me into my next topic, which is adulting is mad hard and not what people think. That's the other thing too, is it kind of goes hand in hand with, what you see on social media is not what you think it is, right? So for example, a person that has a YouTube channel or is a social media mogul or anything, right? There's so many different aspects that go into that one thing. So for example, this podcast right here, right? Okay. So first off, I got to brainstorm ideas of what I want to talk about. What do I think would be interesting? And also a little bit what's kind of trending, and also what I think you guys may want to hear. So it's kind of a back and forth thing. It's not just me, it's you, it's what's in the world. So that's the research part of it, right? Okay, then I need to get up at a certain time, try to record it so it's as quiet as possible. I mean, sometimes you'll hear background noise. There's nothing you can do about that. But try to get up, record it, right? So record the video. So like what I'm doing right now, once I record it, edit the audio to try to like get out any background sounds, then put it into Adobe Premiere Pro. Once it's in Adobe Premiere Pro, edit it some more, add some background music, put the subscribe in the beginning, put a little bit of gameplay. Then, once I think it's where I want it to be, I need to render it. Once I render it, then I got to upload it to my YouTube channel. Once it's uploaded, I need to make sure that the title is something that people are like looking at or searching for. Then making sure that the tags in it are good, the description is good. Then from there, I want to make a decent thumbnail, something that will make people want to click on it, right? Then from there, I need to schedule it, add an end card meaning like when people get to the end of the video, does it show like subscribe? Does it show like here's a video from the past that you might be interested in? You know what I'm saying? So it's all these different things. Then once it uploads, I still need to promote it. So I need to go on Twitter. I need to go on Instagram. I need to put it on different sites so people can have a way to find it, right? So it's all these different things that go into trying to make a podcast or trying to do anything in life. And so adulting is a lot harder, I feel like, it than people tend to think it is. Like growing up, there's goods and bad. Like, don't get me wrong. Like I think I liked K through 5th. Middle school was kind of I didn't really like high school. And college was cool. I didn't really enjoy it because I worked so much. Like I had to work so much while I was in college. And so adulting, it's like anything. There's the good and the bad, right? You have the freedom to do more of what you want. You're making money. You're able to go out more because you have money, but then you also have less time because you are working a 9 to 5 versus like when you was in school where, you'd have these long breaks of just open time to essentially do whatever it is that you want to do. So adulting is a lot harder than people think it is. It's almost like people that like want to rush to move out. Like I had an apartment when I was in college, right? And that was like the watered down version, you could say, of like moving out. But even still, that was work. Like there was the excitement of, my parents went around, I had my own place, people could come over. But there also was the downside of like I had to go grocery shopping, had to make sure my bills were paid. I had to like clean and stuff that, when you live on the dorms, all you have is really a room. So all you're cleaning is a room. And the people, they cook your food, and also they clean out the bathrooms, take out the trash, all that stuff. So like I had to cook more, like a lot of stuff. Like there's more that goes to it, I feel like, it than people tend to realize or tend to think. And adulting is hard. Like there's a lot of hoops and loops that come with getting older. One thing, people pass, meaning like relatives die, people that die, because as you get older, they get older too. So that's the other thing about, like, I know my mom would always say, don't rush to grow up. Like, enjoy each phase of your life as it comes. Obviously, you can't stop the aging process, but some people be such in a rush to grow up and they don't realize, like, life has a lot of loops and hoops and a lot of different things with it. And it's true. It does. Like, and I'm starting to see that more now as I've been out of college now for about 3 years, 26. And, you start to realize like life is hard. Like there's a lot of good things about it, but there's a lot of things that are hard. There's a lot of uncertainty. There's a lot of things that are thrown at you that you have to adapt. Adaptability is another thing. I feel like when it comes to getting older, you have to be able to adapt. It's almost like what they call the survival of the fittest. If you don't know how to adapt or you don't know how to survive, you will not make it in this world. That's another reason why you see some people that aren't successful, because they don't know how to adapt. They don't know how, when what they call it, like, what they say, like diamonds are made under pressure. They don't know how to deal with pressure. They don't know how to deal with changes. So when they don't know how to deal with changes, then that's the reality of it, is that they just fail. So that's another reason why you see a lot of people in life that sometimes don't make it. And then I think there is a point too, like it's a lot of different things, but we're not going to get too deep. I think that'll be like a different podcast I'll make. But adulting is hard and it's not what people think. And so like that kind of trickles down to all the different things that I've talked about, about taking breaks, realizing how blessed you are, realizing how hard it is, setting goals, speaking things into existence, all those different things, they kind of trickle down, and it makes you realize that adulting is harder. It's a lot harder than you think. And the final thing that I wanted to talk about today, which, is not too far from where I live. I talked about it on my main channel, but I also wanted to talk about it on on my podcast, which is that the shooting that happened in Highland Park for the 4th of July. So for those who don't know, there was a mass shooting that happened in Highland Park. It's a very, I don't want to use the term, but it's the truth. It's an uppity, rich neighborhood. I don't live too far from it. I live in a suburb close by. I'm not going to say which one, but you can kind of look around and see. Nonetheless, it was a 4th of July parade. It started around, I think 10 o'clock or something like that. And a shooting happened. It just started. This guy had a rifle and he just started shooting. You can see videos of it on YouTube. Obviously, I'm not going to play it on here because YouTube would take this channel down due to violence and whatnot. And the shooting happened. And it killed 7 people. It was 6 and then it went up to 7 because the 7th person had passed away in the hospital due to, critical condition. And I know there was one boy that both his parents, he's 2. Now he's an orphan. I know there was a GoFundMe that was going on and his parents passed. Both of them passed. That's unfortunate. And I don't want to speak too much on this, but I pretty much just want to say that I feel like our legal system, our justice system has failed us. Because my thing is like this, right? I get it. People have concealed carry. They can carry their firearms around with them, etc., right? But why is it that an 18-year-old, I think this guy was 20 or something, whatever. But why is it that in general, once you're 18, you can go to a gun shop and get a automatic rifle, which is something that they use in the army when they go to war? Why is it that you can do that? Why is it that an 18-year-old, or just in general, anybody can do something like that? Why do you need that type of weapon to protect yourself in your home? Because you think about it, people that conceal and carry, they don't carry those around. You're not legally able to carry that type of weapon around, but why can you have that in your home? And why is there no type of precaution to make sure that these people or person, whatever, doesn't go out and shoot up a place, right? This is happening way too often. We're starting to see that. This is terrible. And this is in Highland Park. You know what I'm saying? This is what they call a very affluent neighborhood, where this type of stuff doesn't happen. The crime rate is 0. You know what I'm saying? It's you're more likely to get sprayed by a skunk than you are to get hit with a bullet. That's how it is. That's how it is on this North Shore where I live. So, and it was crazy because I remember they were telling us on the news, stay inside, don't go out, because it was an active shooting, meaning he had got away and they were trying to find him. They found him. They ended up finding him. He was 2 miles away. I don't know. I thought he was gone. I thought he went to Wisconsin. I don't know. I don't know what my man's was doing. And he dropped the rifle and they picked it up. I mean, it was some weird stuff that was going on. I don't think he thought that plan all the way through. Not saying that was what he did was great, but it just seemed, I don't know. So I know he's I think they say he's in custody and questioning of pretty much why he did it, what was the purpose, etc. But the whole point that I'm trying to make is that our justice system has failed us, because there's no way in the world that you can convince me that it is okay for a person to be able to just buy a rifle to have in their house. I just don't understand, why do you need that for protection? Why do you need that type of gun for protection? And it's just consistently happening. This stuff just consistently keeps on happening. And it's when is it gonna when is enough enough? When is it going to get to a point where they the system realizes that hey, people are literally getting hurt because of this, and until we change our laws, it's not going to change. And then on top of that, because the news and everything, they report everything, they put everything online, it's it just gives people like this more motivation to keep doing it. Think about it. This dude might have saw the shootings that happened a couple weeks ago or a couple months ago, and he's oh shoot, I'm gonna go do it too now. Them reporting this stuff doesn't make it any better either. It makes these crazies just want to imitate it more. But yeah, that's pretty much all I wanted to say about this topic. Justice system, legal system sucks. They need to change this, because this is happening way too frequently. And it's getting to a point where it's it's going to happen more and more, because these people are getting away. They're saying, oh, he's mentally unstable. That's what they say. Oh, he's mentally unstable. And they get away with the stuff. And all these people end up being murdered. It's crazy. But let me know you guys' thoughts about all the topics that I talked about today down below in the comment section. If you enjoyed this podcast, hit that thumbs up, comment, share, subscribe, hit that post notification bell button. I appreciate you guys for supporting the podcast. I appreciate you guys for watching it all the way through. Share it with your friends, share it with your family. I'm gonna start posting this back on Anchor, try to get it on some other sites, you know, because the more you have it on different platforms, the more likely it is to be seen by other people. And that's just in general, right? The more you shoot your shot, you know, the more shots you shoot, the more likely you are to hit. So I appreciate you guys. Hope you guys have a good rest of your day, and I'll chat with you later. Peace.